But before we played Mist, we were talking about whether or not you would be up for your kids getting into an industry which is really misunderstood by a huge portion of the population, despite gaming making up lots and lots of people's free time hours. Now, we were speaking to Dr. Cuss, who said that maybe she might be slightly reticent to encourage gaming for her children. Andy Pearson is a journalist and he works on helping parents engage with young people using tech in this way. So I want to hear what he has to say on this.
I'm a journalist who writes about that intersection between video games and family life. And one of the places I do that is the Ask About Games website that's a friendly place for parents to find out more about video games. And often I'm helping families, and parents in particular, to gain a bit of confidence in this world of video games so that they can guide their children to a more healthy relationship with that. I've got 3 children of my own, so I've kind of wrestled through some of this as they've grown up. And I'm writing a book called Taming Gaming, which equips parents to play that role and shows them loads of great games for them to play with their family. I think the first thing to say, if a parent notices that their child is playing a lot of video games, is that it's completely normal. Games are a part of childhood these days. They're a way that kids relax, they're a way that children will socialise with each other, they're a way for them to chill out after school, find a bit of peace and quiet. And the breadth of games on offer means that it's nothing to worry about, it's a completely normal part of life. What I do usually say is from an early age, it really helps if the parents get involved in that gaming as well. So maybe there's games that you want to play together, or maybe you'll watch your child playing, and that gives you a chance not only to understand what they're doing in the game and to talk to them about it, but also to praise them if they're doing well and to help them be more ambitious in the gameplay and have a wider diet of games so they're not just playing one thing all the time. There's loads of great games that you can share with your kids. I think many parents are slightly nervous or slightly hesitant about doing that and see video games as a part of their child's life that maybe they don't want to intrude upon. It's kind of their thing and they don't want to invade that. But actually, if you listen to children, they're really keen at getting adults and parents in their life involved in this gaming. They love talking about it and sharing it. And I know for my kids that some of their favourite times for playing games have been when we as a whole family have sat down and played together, or there are particular games that I like to play with one or other of them and we work through them together. I think it is easy for parents to obsess over whether their child is addicted to games or whether it's normal. There are lots of headlines in the papers that are relatively scary of pretty extreme scenarios of children finding that video games are kind of taking over their life. But I think it's important not to jump to the wrong conclusions or just to see because the child is particularly enjoying something and wants to do it again and again that that's necessarily a bad thing. And when there is a real excessive behaviour or a change of mood, then not just to look at the games, but to look at the sort of holistic challenges in a child's life and think what else might be causing this, and be very clear about what is cause and effect of some of these behaviours. There are some excellent resources online to help them understand video games and getting more out of them. There's the Ask About Games website that I edit. There's also the VSC PEGI ratings where you can go and find the exact age ratings of different games and see the examiner's report behind that. So armed with this information, along with the tools on the consoles themselves of setting time limits and setting restrictions, it means that parents can take control and create a really healthy context for their children to enjoy video games. One area that parents sometimes get surprised by in video games is the way that you buy them. So rather than how we used to, paying up one fee up front and getting a box off a shelf, taking it home, many of these games are of course free, and so you can download them and try them, which is really nice. But then in the games themselves, they'll have in-app purchases, small items that you can buy, and often these don't actually have any functional merit in the game. They're just costumes or outfits to wear that you can earn if you've done a certain achievement in the game, and sort of bragging rights, like wearing the best trainers in the school playground. I think parents need to understand how this works, and certainly if you're setting up a smartphone or a tablet or a video game console for a young child to use, it's important that you put the right controls in place so they can't inadvertently make purchases, and also talk to them so that they understand the value that they're getting from the game, why some things are free and how much they're going to pay, and then with them you can decide which bits you want to buy and which bits you don't. And a nice way to do this is to grant them a bit of pocket money in the game that you can do automatically on some systems, or you can buy cards in store that have a certain amount of credit on them and they can then use them in the game to buy items. They have a way of understanding virtual currency, which will be useful to them in later life as well.
Had a very nice quote there, I thought, about how having gaming bragging rights is like wearing the best trainers at school. Is that how you feel, Joe?
Yeah, he got it spot on. Not gonna lie, he got it on full on spot on. That's how gaming industry works right now.
But he's making, you know, the central point that he's making there, which I think is crucial to consider, is about this intergenerational chasm that does take place and does exist and will continue to exist as technology moves forward.
BBC Asian Network.